What's up, y'all? Chris here to talk about this weekend's anticipated UFC 178 card, which on paper, to use an old term, should be one of, if not the best UFC fight card of the year. As you should know by now, unfortunately, the original main event between Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier had to be postponed, which is very unfortunate because, that was probably the most anticipated fight of the year, and the new main event between Demetrius Johnson and Chris Carrasco doesn't have an ounce of the same interest as Jones Cormier did. As far as the card, though, it's still a very stacked card. A lot of interesting, intriguing, and fights that have significance in their divisional rankings. As far as the undercard, or not the undercard, but just the card itself. First fight, I'm not going to talk about all the fights, but Kat Zingano versus Amanda Nunes. Zingano was the number one contender for Ronda Rousey after she beat Miesha Tate. Was supposed to be on the Ultimate Fighter with her, but got hurt. She's been out for I think at least a year now. I guess the UFC wants to get her in there to get a fight, and then if she wins, take on Ronda, assuming Ronda's still the champ at the time. But I'm going with the upset here. I'm going with Amanda Nunes, the underdog. I think she's underrated. I think she's got a good ground game, and I think Zingano's ground game isn't the best as shown in her fight against Miesha Tate, even though she won the fight. And just being out for a year, had a lot of stuff going on in her life. I just don't know if this is a good matchup for her to come back. So give me Amanda Nunes in the upset, or for the upset win. Dominic Cruz, Takemi Mizugaki, speaking of comebacks, Dominic Cruz, former UFC Bantamweight champion, has been out for 3 years now. Long time to be out. Unfortunately, had a couple of ACL injuries. I'm not a fan of the guy, never have been, but I do feel bad for him. I am looking forward to his return. On paper, stylistically, this is a good matchup for him. Prime Dominic Cruz should have no problem with Takemi Mizugaki, even though it's a fun fight. it is a competitive fight. I saw Cruz on, I believe it's called UFC Ultimate Insider this past weekend, and in training, his movement looked good. It looked pretty much like what we've seen from him in the past. I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of ring rust, cage rust, whatever you want to call it, and I don't know how much of a step he's lost, if any at all. There's going to be some kind of effect. I can't believe he's going to be the same fighter he was when he left after those injuries and that time off. But from what little I saw, I have confidence that he should come back and have more than enough to win this fight. So Cruz by decision, because when Cruz wins, it's usually by decision. Yoel Romero, Tim Kennedy, not a fan of Tim Kennedy, never have been. Once again, just don't like him. Not a big fan of his personality or his style. This fight, significant fight in the middleweight division though. Both guys have strong wrestling backgrounds. Romero definitely more credentialed in that area. Kennedy, decent striking. Say Romero's better striking. Kennedy likes to take guys down and grind them to a decision win. He doesn't like to, but that's what he does often. But unfortunately for him, Romero's a better wrestler here, so Romero should be able to keep the fight standing, where I think he has more power in his hands, better overall striking, and more chance to win this fight or to do damage in this fight. So give me Romero to win this fight, probably by decision, but my only worry for Romero is he usually fatigues late. Fortunately for him, it's only a 3-round fight. Kennedy got really good cardio, strong gas tank, so I think Kennedy will probably be the stronger first round and third round and may win that round, but I think Romero should do enough in the first 2 rounds to take the fight, if not stop Tim Kennedy. Alright, next fight, the one that some people are saying should be the main event. Conor McGregor taking on Dustin Poirier, a fight that I'm looking forward to. Not just because McGregor's got a lot of hype behind him, but I just think it's a really good matchup. I think it's going to be a really good fight. Potential fight of the night. Potential. McGregor coming off that win of Jacob Brandao, pretty much calling out anybody, and Dustin Poirier talked a lot of trash about Poirier. Poirier's accepted the fight. I'm a fan of Poirier. I don't know if any of you have seen the documentary / movie on him, Fight Bill, that shows his career before he got to the UFC. Really interesting. One of the better MMA documentaries / movies. Worth checking out. And he's always in entertaining fights. When was the last time you saw Dustin Poirier in a not good fight? Because I can't think of it. As for this fight, though, I favor Conor, and it's not because he has all the hype and because he's being built as a big star. But even though I'm a fan of Dustin Poirier, the fact of the matter is, doesn't have the best defense, can be hit, and he can get hurt. He got hurt, I think, against Eric Koch. I know he got hurt in his last fight against Akira Korosani, which was a surprise to me. He came back and won those fights, but still. I was surprised to see him get hurt by Korosani. I think McGregor hits harder than Korosani does. I think Poirier is going to be fired up for this fight. I don't think he's going to fight smart. I think he's going to fight passionately. I think it's going to cost him. I think he's going to get caught in this fight and possibly stopped. Probably stopped. Either way, I favor Conor in this fight, but like I said, it should be a real barn burner. As I said, potential fight of the night, but I do think that the real fight of the night is going to be Donald Cowboy Cerrone versus Eddie Alvarez. Unless this fight ends early by knockout or submission or something, I don't think how this can't be the best fight of the night and potential fight of the year. just on the matchup, the two guys. For UFC fans that aren't familiar with Eddie Alvarez, if you haven't seen this fight with Michael Chandler and Bellator, two of the better, more entertaining fights in the history of MMA, let alone Eddie Alvarez's fights against Joachim Hansen and I believe, what's the guy's name? The Crusher, Kawajiri, in Japan. Those two fights were also Fight of the Year contenders. So go watch some of Eddie Alvarez's old fights and you'll see why I'm so excited for this one. And Cowboy, everyone knows his rep. One of the more entertaining fighters in the sport. Fight in and fight out. Always, throws caution to the wind. Same with Eddie Alvarez. I'm a big fan of Cowboy Cerrone. I really don't know who to favor in this fight. My worry for Cerrone as a fan of him is that when he faces guys that have really good hands, better boxing technique, he struggles. Nate Diaz fight, Rafael Dos Anjos fight for perfect examples. I think Eddie Alvarez is better technically with his hands, so I'm worried about Cowboy there. But I'm going to go with Cerrone nonetheless because he's really looked good in using his kicks more in his last couple of fights. Head kicks, leg kicks, kicks to the body. I think he can really open up Eddie Alvarez there. And if it goes to the ground, Alvarez is a better wrestler, but Cerrone's got great ground game, underrated ground game. He's shown time and again. Close fight, should be an entertaining fight. But I'm going to favor Donald Cowboy Cerrone, but this is a coin toss. As far as the main event, I don't have a lot to say about it. No disrespect to Demetrius Johnson, but just not a big fan of his style, personality. Just not a fan, really. I mean, I'm just being honest. And Kyrgios as a challenger, just don't really see him as a significant threat. He's coming off a win over Luis Smolka, who, from what I've seen of Smolka, I enjoy watching him fight, but I just don't think that he has. If Smolka would have won, he wouldn't be facing Johnson, so I don't know. I just don't think Kyrgios is a real threat to Demetrius Johnson. See Demetrius Johnson win this fight, probably by decision, if not, whatever, some other way, but I think he should win this fight pretty handily. Anyways, that's it for now. What are your guys' thoughts on this card? Are you looking forward to it? And if so, which fight are you looking forward to the most? And who do you see winning that said fight or any other fights? Link to Twitter information over as always. Till next time, which will probably be Saturday night after the fights.